What is up, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Assessing the Hospitality Industry. On this episode, we'll yet again be visiting the magical lands of Skyrim. More specifically, we'll be visiting the city of Windhelm. To be brief, for those of you that haven't been with us here on Assessing the Hospitality Industry, I'm going to be taking a direct survey within the city of Windhelm in order to determine if the city is hospitable or not, or if you're just in your leisure time here. I'm going to be rating 6 categories on a scale from 0 to 5. Those categories being safety, beauty, entertainment, bars and restaurants, friendliness of people, accommodation. The maximum amount of points you can get is 30, and I guess you can say that these are the city's goals. But without further ado, let's get into it and let's check out some Windhelm. Upon entering town, I instantly witnessed something racist. That's not a great start for Windhelm at all. I mean, the nodes don't really seem to like the doghouse very much. In order to wash away some of that racism I just witnessed, I entered the Candlehearth Hall, which is a local tavern, and it's conveniently located right at the entrance of Windhelm. Makes me feel very welcome. Love the hospitality of Windhelm. Oh, well, don't love the racism though. That's not great at all.
Kids, don't be racist.
Cut!
Let me tell you what, this place is really beautiful. I really like the ambiance in here a lot, but I am going to come back a little bit later and a little bit more prime hours. I've had my fair share of drinks now. It's time to hit the town and explore what else Windhelm has to offer. But the Candlehearth Hall, very promising. Oh yeah, and it turns out some young lady was recently murdered in town. Well, at least Windhelm's got a wall. That'll make up for murders within the city and racism too. Man, this is kind of a scary city so far. As you probably know by now, if you watched previous Assessing the Hospitality Industry episodes with me, you know I love to go and meet the Jarls. Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak is a very interesting guy to say the least. Maybe a hospitality surveyor, but I don't live on that rock. I know Jarl Ulfric Stormcloak is a very divisive figure in Skyrim. I know that a wide variety of people have very different opinions of it. In order to maintain my very high level of professionalism in this job, I have to maintain a neutral opinion on politics, including Ulfric's politics. So, I'm not going to comment on that. What I will say is, Ulfric is kind of a dick, but kind of a really intriguing guy. I don't really know how to describe it, but, I definitely feel like there's good in there, but I also definitely feel like there's bad in there, too. I got bored of listening to Ulfric and his general guy strategize how to defeat the Empire, so decided to go back out the city to explore. And one big takeaway, this is a big city with lots to explore and a decent amount to do. I head outside to visit the port, and it's actually a decently nice port with a lot of potential. One big takeaway so far, the town is actually a pretty beautiful town, to be honest, but it's very snowy and almost has a little bit of a depressing feel to it. Can't quite put my finger on it. Maybe the depressing feel is all the snow that Windhelm gets, and the fact that you can never see the sun because it's so freaking cloudy in this city. I found the second bar in town, the New Genesis Corner Club. I'm kind of excited to see it, as not a lot of these towns so far have had multiple bars, so this is already a pretty big plus. This place is quite clearly a dog elf hangout spot, which kind of makes sense because all the dog elves are segregated to this part of the city. The dog elves appear to be quite racist toward the Nords in here, which makes me feel great as a Nord, but it's quite obvious that the Nords have not treated the dog elves great over the years, so kind of get why they maybe hold a little bit of a disdain toward the Nords. Not that I'm going to justify racism or anything. One big takeaway so far in this town, there's a lot of divide here, especially between the Nords and the dog elves. A lot of hate going around, that's for sure. Overall, I don't have a lot of takeaways from this place. I mean, it's quite clear that I'm not that welcome here, but maybe if we became a regular here, the dog elves would be cool with me. But, this is definitely a dive bar, and definitely a nice option to have here in Windhelm, considering the fact it's definitely a secondary bar. Up next, I set out to find Calixto's House of Curiosities, which is supposedly a local museum in town, but with a name like House of Curiosities, I'm a little concerned as to what I might witness in here. Like, this might not be what I'm looking for.
Welcome to the jungle! We got fun and games!
Turns out the House of Curiosities was not an orgy or a strip club or anything like that. In fact, it was actually a pretty cool museum. And Calixto, I feel like that's how you say his name. I totally forget if it is or not. But he was a pretty cool guy. He even gave me a tour of the whole place after I gave him 2 gold. Sure, the place was pretty small, but hey, neat idea here and really unique. I overall really like this little museum a lot. The House of Curiosities. After much procrastinating, I finally returned to Candlehearth Hall to retire for the night. But at first I decided to explore Candlehearth Hall a little bit more. And one of the bard, I think you pronounce her name Luathan, something like that. And she's actually a pretty good bard. I mean, she takes requests and she sings and plays an instrument at the same time. So far, only the second bard in Skyrim that I've seen do that. She's pretty good, very talented. I'm still such in love with the overall vibrant ambience of this place. It's so beautiful and so relaxing. Definitely one of my favorite inns/taverns in all of Skyrim. I finally decided to go to my room to fall asleep, and what I will say is, the room is very nice. Not huge or anything, but overall, a very well put together room that's not cluttered, which is a problem I've had lately. There's overall just a nice little vibe. Really like this room a lot. Probably my favorite room I've had so far on this little adventures I've had in Skyrim. Alright, I'm gonna quit yapping and get straight into this. On a scale from 0 to 5, I give Windhelm safety a 2.1. Given all the divide in the city and the fact that some young lady was just murdered in town, I don't feel very safe here. Not to mention the fact that this town feels like it is inevitably gonna get invaded by the Empire. Beauty, I gotta give it a 3.8, and I actually think the city is really pretty. Really like the architecture of the buildings in town. Only real big minus is the fact that it's always snowing, and it has just a depressing feel in town that almost diminishes the beauty. Entertainment is going to get a 4.1. There's a great bard in town, Luathan, who is one of the best bards I've seen to date. Not to mention, I do consider Calixto's House of Curiosities to be some form of entertainment, and I also feel like this is a very cool and unique place. Bars and restaurants are going to get a 3.8. The Candlehearth Hall is a great spot, possibly my favorite tavern in all of Skyrim so far. I also like the New Genosis Club a lot. It's a solid spot. Good but not great, but overall, it's a pretty big plus for Windhelm, given that they get 2 spots you can go drink and hang out, which most towns in Skyrim lack. Friendliness of people is only going to be a 2.9. Mix of very friendly people here and very unfriendly people. Lots of racism from both sides in town. Lots of all-around grumpy and depressed people too. And last but not least, accommodation is going to get a 4.5. The Candlehearth Hall is great. I've praised it so much in this video. Just a great all-around spot and one of the best inns I've seen in Skyrim. The only real minus is the staff isn't super friendly, but otherwise it's a great spot. And honestly, it's not like the staff is like, it's not like Helga from Riften. It's not like they're just fought a horrible human beings. They're just not very friendly or hospitable. Drum roll, please. With that all being said, on a scale from 0 to 30, Windhelm scores are 21.2. That puts Windhelm firmly in second place, just a few points away from White One. Gotta say, I'm kind of surprised Windhelm got as close to White One than it did. I mean, White One just felt so much safer, but Windhelm truly did have some great offerings between having a phenomenal tavern scene and having a very unique museum. Windhelm did bring a lot more to the table than I initially expected. Thank you so much for everyone for watching, and stay tuned for yet another upcoming episode of assessing the hospitality industry, where we will go to a yet to be named city in the great nation of Skyrim. Thank you.